Hello again, everyone. Mark Hackle, Macomb County Executive. John Paul Ray, our Deputy Executive, just giving you a few updates what's going on here in Macomb County. A couple incidents, things that have happened, as well as the COVID issue. Let's start off with the update on what's going on with Zachary Morissette. And obviously, the loss of his life was very tragic to many of us. But fortunately, with the help of a lot of the public and the response and the state police, the great work that they had done, they've been able to obviously make a determination of the vehicle that was involved, as well as the individual they've identified. So they've got this person in custody, trying to make a determination as to what if any type of charges may be coming. But fortunately for the family, and I've had the opportunity to speak to them, they're at least some level of comfort knowing who did this. And with that being said, this is going to be a tough weekend for them. Today is going to be one of the days that he's laid out for viewing, and then tomorrow will be the funeral. So difficult time for many of us here in the county, and even for his family. But again, thanks to the public as well as the Michigan State Police for the work that they did to try to identify the person involved.
Mark, it's a difficult week on many fronts, not only as we send out our thoughts and prayers to the family and the loved ones of Zach, but as we go through the healing process with our team here at Rhodes. It's ensuring that we take care of everyone that shows up to work, wants to do the right thing, wants to keep everyone safe. A tragedy this week, but again, we thank the Michigan State Police, their ability to not only see through and be able to connect and apprehend that individual, and now we'll see where we go from here.
Yeah, so again, our thoughts and our prayers are with Zach, as well as his family and his internal family here with the Department of Roads. With that being said, kind of a quick update on what's going on with the numbers when it comes to the COVID issue. Again, we continue to see a decline in pretty much every category here in the county, and we've come a long way. Now we've been kind of given, I realized just the other day, we're looking at the map, and the state has changed the map. Apparently there's a new color code, and now there's a grading code apparently. No rhyme or reason. Nobody seems to know how that happened, why it happened. There wasn't a lot of dissemination of information, but we went to the actual mapping and found out that it's something different. And there's some type of a grading scale. I guess it puts Macomb County and the rest of the region in a grade A. But again, all this data, statistics, information is good, but the question is, what does it apply to? And that's been the challenge. I'm not sure what this means. Whether it's opening businesses, we've had challenges with that. Again, just a new color code scheme now with some grades, but I really am not sure exactly what it means. But the numbers are pretty compelling. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things here in Macomb County.
You bring up an interesting element with regards to the changes that the state has put forward with the letter grades and the colors and the layout and everything. But when you go to the numbers, we have positive trends, not only with our percent positive rate now being in the 5s for the better part of 2 weeks now. We have had a 5-week trend of decline on positivity. The other thing, testing is still trending high. Over 1,600 individuals testing. Got an update for our health department. We had another handful of days this week where we're up over 250 tests a day at just the county testing site alone, which is really good on that side. Again, the cases per million, Mark, still in the 40s. Manageable numbers. We know there's community spread out there. We're keeping up with the contact tracing, and we're understanding the impacts. And again, as you've highlighted for many, many months now, the death rate compared to where we were at in March and April is drastically lower.
And even the cases of people going to the hospitals. Talking to Barbara Rossman, I just happened to see her yesterday, had a conversation with her from Henry Ford. Again, it's not had a huge impact on the hospitals at all. So with that being said, we know there were, I guess, if you will, opening of the gyms. There was the opening of the schools.
Yeah.
The schools did go back. There are the few cases, but the cases that we're seeing, again, health department's been on board with that. They've been working with the schools, trying to make sure that people need to make sure that they're being self-isolated if they're in and around someone. They're doing all that. But not many of these folks that have tested positive had to go to the hospital for any significant reason, and or very few, if any, deaths related to it. So we're fortunate. We know there's still the community spread. It's out there. But even in spite of all this opening of the economy, people connecting, people getting back together, and we're seeing this interaction taking place, the numbers are still heading in a positive direction, meaning we're not seeing the numbers like we had once seen before.
Mark, I think another interesting thing is we phase in different elements, and let's just focus on the schools right now. A lot of school boards having very active and fluid conversations with administration, with parents groups, trying to figure out what it looks like bringing more kids into the learning environment. Again, we're keeping these environments safe. If and when cases arise, our health department is on it the instant something happens. We have a protocol and procedure in place, whether we need to target a particular case or understand the spread of the virus within a building or facility. It's been working for the better part of 3 weeks now, and it's something we're very much committed to do, not only through our health department, but through the resources that we have. Brandon Lewis over in our emergency management continuing to procure PPE and sanitation equipment for them too, and then their technology needs as we get all these things moving forward. Yeah. So systems working for everyone. Undoubtedly challenge will continue to arise. We're prepared to respond.
And we know there's always going to be this conflict, about the numbers. What do they mean? Again, it's still somewhat confusing. But the reality is, here in Macomb County, I guess if you're looking at the letter grade now that's been given based on the state standards here, we're in a A category. So again, I'm really not sure what all this means, but again, this is information we're going to display because it's what's coming from the state. So that being said, you mentioned about school boards and kind of working together to try to figure out what we're doing. We're fortunate, and I said this before, getting rid of that state of emergency changed nothing here in Macomb County with the exception of engaging our legislative body. And so with that, we're working with our Board of Commissioners on some of the funding issues. Just the other day, we had to present them some kind of a bypass provision, asking if we can make sure that if there's a need for PPE and some of the other, things that we need right away, we can't wait for the processes to play out. We will inform them. Everything still goes through the proper procedures. So, when we're procuring something, there's bid processes, everything, but we're expediting that, and the board gave full approval, 13-0, to support that through our emergency management. So again, it's done nothing other than to try to figure out how do we engage our legislature. We're doing that here in Macomb County, and we're doing it right. So again, hats off, or thanks to the Board of Commissioners for being part of the solution as we continue to move forward through this state of concern that we see, because we know that it's still in and around the community, and we're trying to figure out how do we best mitigate it, but understand also how do we live with it at the same time. So we get some great working relationship with them right now.
It's been really refreshing seeing the Board of Commissioners here at the county understand how they can help be a part of that solution. There's no divisiveness, there's no political divides. We all know what the task at hand is, Mark, and we know that if county government works efficiently, we can have a positive impact on the community and help combat the spread of the virus.
Yeah. Then next up, we're working through the budget process next week. Probably going to be making a presentation to the board about the numbers and how they look. It's a pretty positive outlook for Macomb County. And I say that, because we really weren't sure at the onset of this how this was going to impact our budget. Creative financing, working with our finance department, done the great things. I think even our budget itself set for this year was very conservative. And with that being said, a lot of the department heads, a lot of the county-wides weighed in on this to try to make sure that whatever that presentation of the budget is, it's going to be one that is going to be satisfied by the board as well as the executive branch to make sure that we're working within the confines of money coming in, money going out. So I think we're going to have a very positive interaction with the Board of Commissioners over the next couple of weeks on this budget as it's presented.
Mark, you've said it for a number of years now. We've put ourselves in an enviable financial position. Our finances are in order. We have the ability to weather whatever storm is in front of us. The injection of CARES Act resources has given us a little bit of creativity and latitude to not only respond to coronavirus, but also ensure we can optimize day-to-day administration. And it's looking as if it's going to be a positive conversation next week.
And so we'll get back, and you're probably going to hear more about that as time goes on, whether it's through these updates and or through the media posting of some of this information. So on that note, on behalf of JP and myself and the rest of us here in Macomb County, once again, our thoughts and hearts and prayers are with the family of Zachary Morissette, and we also want to remind you to keep you and your family safe.